What's up everybody, Tom here with another video. In today's video, we'll be talking about everything to do with the markets right now around the world, including the S&P 500, Nasdaq, Tesla, silver, gold, Bitcoin, and more. Everybody's got their eyes focused on the US 10-year, but should they really be focusing on the strength of the US dollar right now? This technical is hard to beat. Stay tuned to find out more. All right, guys, well, here begins our analysis of course, the markets closed 16th of November, 2021, and they weren't exactly what we suspected yesterday. We thought there might be a little bit of weakness. There was overall strength coming in from a few sectors. Semiconductors continue to just shine here in the markets, and anyone that's been invested in those has done very well. Tesla had a small bounce off the 1,000 price line, which continues to be that big psychological level, and then we saw some movements also in things like MasterCard, PayPal, etc. If we move over to the actual sectors and the indices, let's have a look at the indices to start with. Everything started down, then moved up, and then kind of moved down near the close. We see here the tech really leading in the day, and this was the one that kept the markets up across the board. When we have a look at the sectors, it tells a little bit of a different story. Consumer, discretionary, XLY obviously doing well, 1.58 because of that reason. SMH, the semiconductors, and then we've got XLK. These were the ones that were up, and then many sectors were down throughout the session. So it wasn't really a story of all of one market going up. It was more the tech that really pushed it through. We're still in earnings at the moment. We did have some big earnings come out through the previous sessions, and we did see a couple of moves there, but we have even bigger ones on Wednesday. So remember, we've got Target, Baidu, Lowe's, and then we have Nvidia, Cisco on the close. These are going to be some important things to watch. Alibaba also Thursday, a lot of eyes will be on that. As we know, a lot of speculation has gone into that one from big names, retail herd, and even some of the bigger name players have said, look, we're done with the Chinese market for now and we'll revisit it later. Will Alibaba be able to turn the corner and go on up? Let's have a look at those results soon. US 10-year, this is where I want to start the technical analysis for today. And I think it really presents the same story we've discussed for a few weeks. We had that previous peak over here. Everyone was concerned about inflation. Then, of course, that dissipated. No one's concerned about inflation. Then it went back up. A little bit of talk about it, but not as much. And then now we're moving back up technically. And this is where I really want to get into it. What has happened before in recent history tends not to scare the market. If you see a new unknown, that tends to scare the market. So for people that are on the bearish side of the market right now, that's what they're going to be looking at. They're looking at this 10-year and they're saying, please go up, please go up, please go up. Because if it does, it could rattle the stock markets. Now, a lot of you will say, well, I don't think it will because it isn't currently. It's the new unknown that's the key here in the markets. And if you're going to take something out of today's video, always remember that. It's like the VIX. If you follow the fear index, the VIX, the volatility index, that particular one will only spike usually when you're making new lows. If you actually hover around the same level or even bounce and then come back down to the same level, you'll notice the VIX actually lowers over that period. So a lot of people are calling this inverse head and shoulders. It's coming off a trend line, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. If we believe that, then what we can do is we can take the distance of the move, being this trend line here, we extrapolate that out, and that puts us to a 1.78 number, or close to 1.8. That would put us at a recent high here for the US 10-year and possibly scare things like the growth stocks such as the Nasdaq. So that's going to be one for people to watch. Another thing of interest is the strength in the dollar index. Is this showing us something about inflation as well? Is this showing us that we might see a rate hike faster than other people expect? Look, we have been a big bull here on the market in terms of the DXY ever since the weekly closed above this level over here. And I think a lot of people need to understand that with weekly trades, it can take some time to get started. So we're still being bullish. It's really ramping at this stage. Another big day, which actually hurt gold and silver trades, and we'll talk about that soon. And then we're on that way towards what you would think is 97. Let's put this in perspective of how big a deal this is. We don't see many big ramps in the dollar index. In fact, when you do see a big ramp, it can be multi-year or at least 12 months. You'll see the big short here, the big long, the big short, and then of course the double bottom base into what could be way more than 97 from a perspective of TA. We've taken the double bottom. That's how we've got that number at this stage. And it looks to be going from strength to strength to strength. And that could be signaling that the market does know there could be an interest rate change coming up. It's thinking about that idea. And of course, it's thinking about the changes in monetary policy moving forward. As they start to tighten that monetary policy, the dollar should go up against other pairs. It all makes sense when you really think about it. Let's move over to gold. So gold's a little bit of a tricky one because we are also in a great participation phase where we've broken through on the daily and weekly above the 1832 area. We've hit our first level of resistance and we've now found a whole bunch of resistance here. But if you were trading this over the last 24 hours, you're probably a little upset. And I can see why. Let's have a look at the daily. Looks like a full rejection, no confirmation above. If you're a daily trader, all good. If you're an 8-hour trader, while it did spike above, you can see that it came straight back down and said, no, false breakout, guys, false breakout. But if you were on the smaller time frames, the 4-hour closed above, confirmation you would think towards the bull side, or the 2-hour confirmation towards the bull side, both times you would have been triggered. And I think this is a really good opportunity to discuss scaling again. We talk about it a lot in our live streams. By the way, if you haven't attended our live streams, make sure to hit that subscribe button because you really will get a lot of value out of them, I hope. And they're a great place to hang out with other members of the community with like minds that are looking at technical and fundamental analysis. And of course, this US stock market and other commodities. And let's take a look here because we broke through and we did confirm. So what a lot of people do is they practice scaling. So let's say you accidentally placed a position here, which would have been probably valid. Remember, it's all stats, so you're not going to win every time, even though you see great technical analysis. And you might say, okay, well, I'm going to enter a third or half of my normal position size here, place the appropriate stop losses, etc., whether they're under here or they're under the last low. Now, by doing that, what you're doing is you're allowing the market to confirm. And then if it comes back down and lightning bolts off this area or comes back down and lightning bolts and gives you bullish pressure, you can then add extra to that order. So I think that's something that some people don't practice enough. And scaling is definitely something that changed the way I approach the market and we approach the market. And I think it's helped a lot of people in the community. If scaling's helped you guys, go in the comments down below. Let us know. Let the community know. Help each other. Let us see your experiences, because only through understanding what many people make the mistake of can we really try to do better. Now, we are at a base. We're at that previous support. Could we now create a lightning bolt? Certainly could. There's also even a chance that we might even come further down, test that 1832 and then bounce off. I don't really think it changes the overall bullishness of gold or silver, and that's because it's more of a seasonal based approach. November into December 2020. We go over here and we scroll back and we think November into December 19. Okay, perfect. Then we scroll back. November 18, strength. December, November 17, strength. So it really doesn't change that aspect. And that means that things like silver also, while it rejected that nasty problematic area of the daily 200 SMA, the green line here, it's still hovering around that good area. We've got that big long-term inverse head and shoulders. We've got the neckline sitting here, and we look for bounce confirmation. So you go down to the 1 hour time frames, the 2 hour time frames, and start to look for lightning bolts, start to look for double bottoms, or just general accumulation. That's really what we're looking for on this chart. We'll move over now to Tesla, and I want to talk about this. So we saw the $1,000 hold. Fantastic. The psychological number. This is really all we're going with here. We've had a little bit of a base. We've had a little bit of a base again. So could I be proven a little bit wrong here from the aspect of not the $1,000 so much? We talked about that a lot. But will we actually see Tesla go and make an all-time high before the end of the year? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. Anything's possible. I hope it does. I really do. And we are bullish here on the stock, and the price action is still holding up. I just thought it might be in a bit of consolidation for a while. So we've got here the 1100 level. This 1100 level is really the zone of resistance. So if we bounce off this, what are we doing? We're creating a double bottom there. That double bottom should go the distance of the move. That is this area here. And the distance of the move puts us back into around that 1230 zone. So that's right where we expect it to go. Now, if it doesn't do that, and let's say it comes up to the resistance, finds selling pressure at 1100 and comes back down, we may stay out a bit of an accumulation. And if this happens, I won't be sad, because if we got a massive channel accumulation, can you imagine the breakout once all the indicators have been able to reset from that large move that's happened? Ooh, it's going to be really tasty, and we'll be covering it on the channel, and I'm excited if that does occur. So before we talk about indices, I want to talk about maximum pain. I don't bring this up as much anymore because I think it's misinterpreted a little bit. And maximum pain is the idea that if Wall Street had the perfect idea of expiring every single option at the perfect level to make the most amount of money, you would get the maximum pain level. And you can go over here and you can grab these types of charts. And you'll notice the current maximum pain level as of this date, so the 17th here in Australia, is basically 380 in terms of the market. And this is what we're looking at from the QQQ perspective. So the QQQ would be closing at 380 come Friday, should we get maximum pain. Now we know we're a lot higher than this. The current stock price 397.50. So this was probably one of the other reasons why you thought, oh, maybe the market could come down. It's not an exact science. It's something you use very seldomly, and I guess when you bring it together with other things, it can make some sense. Remember, not every week is a maximum pain week. That's just not the way it is. 70% of options expire worthless, but that doesn't mean that all of them expire worthless. And the reason this max pain is so low is we've got to think about a month ago and 2 months ago. A lot of people were putting puts into the market, hedging November. They were hedging November, and there's a heavy slant towards those puts. On the SPY, it's a similar occurrence here. 455 is the max pain with a 469 current stock price. So will we get to 455 November 19th? Highly unlikely. But you can see why a lot of people were pressing to this. And I just want to bring it up because sometimes it's good to use, especially when we're in sideways markets. That's when a great time to use max pain is, when you're in a channel or something like that on a stock. I really like max pain, but it doesn't always work. And I think that's something important to note there. Let's move over to the QQQ and talk about the current channel. So we're at the top here for the Nasdaq. We've hit this resistance and we're kind of stuffing around in this level. Now we knew there would be some, or we felt there would be together some form of weakness here. And there was. Were we correct as a community? Yes, we were. What we suspected after that though is at least we'd hit the daily 20. And you know what? I'd stick with that for the longer term. If you always go with the daily 20 as a good touch, it's the mean reversion. It's generally where you see the market pull back to during these pullbacks. But since then, we've actually begun a bit of a bull trend. I guess this started on the 1 hour. If we go and have a look, here's the little day trader, 1 hour here, the lightning bolt towards the bull side. You could have gone bullish here if you felt like it, and that was your plan. But again, there's always this chance that we double top here or we create some type of resistance. So how do I see these markets? And when I look at it, do I think, oh, well, I'm wrong? Or do I think, oh, well, it's okay? Well, as you're an investor, you should still maintain the fact that you're always optimistic in the markets. If you believe in longer term cycles, we may have just started a new cycle. As a trader, you're looking at it from, okay, well, if it sells off here, where can I pick it up? Where can I make that money? And you're probably breaking down stocks, looking for consolidation periods on stocks, looking for breakouts, etc. And there might have been some great opportunities in here. However, remember, if you'd sold some of your positions at the top up here, where is it right now? It's really just at the same position. So you're now faced with a bit of an issue. Do you re-enter your positions and say, okay, well, I was right, but it didn't go down as much as I want. Now I potentially look towards the future of gains? Or do I at least wait for it to break out from the top? Because usually if you break the top of a big ascending channel like this, it should come back theoretically, yeah? It should come back, test it again, give you that opportunity to say, okay, I've seen the confirmation and now I can get involved in it. And I think that's something that's very important here. If we move over to the NDX, some people are now starting to call double top ideas, with this being the trough. And of course it goes up, comes down. If it breaks through there, well, if it is a double top, it's probably going to go fairly heavy down. And you're starting to say, okay, this highlighted area down here, or even the bottom of this ascending becomes open. So it's not the ideal scenario. I preferred it went up, came down to the 20, possibly even the 50 worst case, and then went up through the rest of the year, November, December. And I still think we're going to have a bullish close to the end of the year and things are going to look good. But let's have a look at the SPX, because this really is the market we should be using as our main market. This is the main one. The SPY is always going to show us the best technical analysis. We have the long leg doji, we have the hit of the community channel, we've got the hit of the R1, which is the R1 pivot for the month, and we've just hit it again and slightly rejected it. So this is right at the peak. We haven't closed an all-time high, because remember the closure was here, or if we have, it's only by like a point. So we're right at that resistance. A lot of people are going to call double tops here. Too close to tell. We don't know. We know there will be sellers here. You can imagine the bears are going, you know what? Failed down here, guys. Let's sell this baby. R1 again, here to the top of the trend line. Should be going weak. Let's find out. Thanksgiving, which is coming up, is notoriously actually a bullish time of the year. But yeah, this is a very interesting zone. We'll be watching it closely here on the channel. What if we get an engulf towards the downside? That would be bad. Or if we get a big bullish close above, do we begin another further rally? A very pivotal 24 hours on the market, and we'll be watching this with close anticipation. IWM, nothing's really changed here. Exact same thought process as before. I guess we still think that it could come down to this moving average here and then bounce off in its move, hopefully to go through what was the channel, A equals B. I still think this is a fairly strong looking section of the market. If we look at something like a 2 hour, what you'll notice here is it's kind of forming a small base. So we break through these peaks. What's that going to be? A little double bottom continuation. So if you think you've missed an opportunity on the Nasdaq or the S&P, possibly you might be able to come and have a look at the Russell 2000. Now, where there is a difference in the world is, of course, the crypto markets. The crypto markets fell as we anticipated, straight from underneath the 20, bang, into the 50. This is the Ethereum market. It broke that uptrend through all of the 20s and that big trend line. It came smashing down into this zone, and now it contends with this area. And while I think Ethereum sometimes has great technicals, it comes down to Bitcoin a lot here. Does Bitcoin hold this 50? If Bitcoin breaks underneath the 50, I'm sorry to tell you, I actually believe we might be seeing a nice 20% to 25% kind of crash on Bitcoin top to bottom. And that puts us back into this 52, 54K scenario. Let's measure it together now. Right now, let's do this. Get the measurement, take that measurement down, 23% down. So that's 23% down top to bottom around here. As we would know, between 20 and 30% is actually standard, if you can believe it, in crypto market crashes. If you're new to the market, yes, that is actually true. And this is the pivotal area. Day traders will be watching with anticipation here because they'll be in the 2 hour saying, okay, what's happening? Tell me more about the price action. Can we break above these previous wicks, this 61,500? If we can, let's take that baby long potentially and move through. These are the things that technical analysts will be looking at. This is a key zone. We've analyzed it together. We've found it. Now, how does the market get, I guess, influenced by that? Does it break below or will we go up? I'd also like to know what the comment section think about this. Is Bitcoin going down in the next couple of days, or is this thing going back up? 61.5 broken, all-time highs within the next couple of weeks. Let me know what you think. BTC shorts. A lot of people asking about this. This was one of our best signals for showing weakness coming into the market. We saw the big whales starting to place short positions. This is not currently being shown here. So it's not like this is a huge manipulation of across board the whales like it was last time. Let's have a look just to put it in perspective how many shorts there were. Look at this. Wow, look at that. And guess who won? The whales. The whales won last time. They usually do. This market's becoming Wall Street though as well. So as we see more derivatives, more big players enter, it's going to be interesting to find out how they manipulate it. Thanks so much for following the channel as usual. If you do enjoy the videos, please subscribe. Smash that like button, guys. It helps us out a lot. It's what got us to 70,000 in the first place, you, the community. And I hope you all have a great 24 hours. We'll see you in the next live stream. Remember, live stream close. Wednesday close is NVIDIA Day. Wow, that's going to be a big one. Catch you guys. Bye.